Hello and welcome to the 11. I'm William Pitts. Thanks for watching on the 12 News streaming app. If this is your first time watching this show, this is the show where we just don't report the news. We tell you what the news means to you. We kind of bring it down to your everyday life. And as part of that, we want to tell you what we're working on here at the station. So we're going to start with a segment we call Desk Check. And to do that, we're going to bring in our assignment desk. There is Dan Siegel right there at the assignment desk. Dan, we kind of had a busy morning. What are we tracking over there?
Absolutely. We had a mountain rescue call this morning, Paradise Valley in Mummy Mountain. Guy was up at the top of the hill, had a medical episode of some kind. They had to get up there with fire crews and technical rescue teams, and they flew him off the mountain. He got down to the bottom. He ended up not going to the hospital, but he just had some sort of an episode up there and needed help. And fortunately, they were able to get him down, and he'll be all right at the end of the day. But it was interesting to watch this morning as it evolved.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the video right now from Sky 12 that was over the top of that. And yeah, I mean, very, very top of Mummy Mountain, plucked him off, took him right down. And then as I understand it, I mean, we talked to this guy at the bottom of the hill.
We did. We interviewed him. Based on what he said, he might have been a tourist from out of town. We're still sorting that out. But yeah, you'll hear from him on 12 News at 1.
And of course, we will explain why it's not a great idea to be hiking in heat like this in just a second. Okay, what else do we have going on?
We had a plane crash in Chandler last night. One person on board, unfortunately, the gentleman passed away. We're still waiting to find out more about the pilot. NTSB got out there this morning, started their investigation. We had reporter Tori King out there for a morning show for Today in AZ. And then reporter Sean Rice is picking up the trail dayside. We'll have more from him 4, 5, and 6 this afternoon.
Okay, any road closures out there, anything like that?
No,
the area, obviously?
Yeah, obviously it was a hot scene last night, and they had to shut down some roads for the fire and police response. But no, the plane crashed into a commercial building. All the roadways that people would travel open at this point.
Yeah, obviously, avoid the area. NTSB's got a lot of work to do. You got to lift all that wreckage out of there. You have to kind of sort through and sift through. Thankfully, though, did you say the pilot was the only one on the plane?
Yeah, a single person on board, just the pilot.
Gotcha. We don't cover a whole lot of Chandler Airport crashes out there. Deer Valley is a very busy airport. Chandler, not so much, though, right?
No, and we're still trying to sort out. We have the tail number, obviously. Based on the video you saw of the plane, we have a decent idea of who owns the plane. We just don't know who was piloting the plane.
Gotcha. All right, so our third thing that you're following, this is not going to surprise anybody, but it's kind of the reason we don't want you to hike today.
No, it's a broken record. It's heat. Another weather impact alert day. We'll have weather impact alert days for this entire week. Your weather forecast from Ginger and Crystal and Lindsay, it's going to be red bars all the way across the screen because it's hot and it's getting hotter.
Yeah, and okay, so I looked at the numbers this morning when Ginger had them on Today in AZ. 117 again by Saturday. We were just in this office on Saturday doing that exact same thing. It was rough.
Yeah, and then we have, to help explain it, take it beyond just it's hot, what are you going to do? Reporter Gabriella Becerra is working on a story on the heat's impact on the body. So at least hopefully there'll be some takeaways and useful things for viewers to know beyond just it's hot, stay indoors and drink water.
Yeah, I mean, we've said something about, how much water. I've said this twice actually this week, and really, I'm tired of the heat making me say things like this, but you'll lose 1 to 2 liters of water outside in heat like this per hour, especially with strenuous activity. People from out of town, if by some strange chance you're watching the 12 News streaming app right now, please don't go hike a mountain like past now, or past actually 8 o'clock in the morning. Please don't go out there and do that. You don't want to end up like the guy that got plucked off the top of the mountain earlier today. All right, Dan Siegel, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll check in again with you tomorrow. Let's move on to our big story. All right, our big story today, ASU is offering a degree in content creation. Apparently our camera is sticking, so we'll just stick on this one for a little while. Content creation is going to be a degree over at ASU at the Cronkite School. You've seen the headlines, and I get it. Party school, #1 party school is offering a degree in how to be an influencer. It's actually a little more than that, as we've found out when we're trying to research this. We're joined right now by Vincent Orlek. Vincent, you are am I right? You are a social media marketing and strategy guru. You're a little bit of everything.
We can call it that. Yeah. I do social media marketing, digital marketing for a living.
Okay, so the one thing that I'm finding out about this is not a degree on how to do makeup tutorials or a get ready with me video or
No.
something like this. Is not a degree in Kim Kardashian. This is different.
Correct.
It should be different.
It should be, and so it's not selfie school at all.
It's actually a really good line.
I'm working on it. It's very much not. It's very much not any of it. Can it be used for that at a certain point down the road by someone that takes this for a degree? Absolutely, right? But really, the program, the degree program itself in content creation, it's a bachelor's. It's a full-fledged bachelor's. You're going to take all these classes that you would take. A lot of them you would basically take for a marketing degree at Cronkite, for a journalism degree in Cronkite. There's a few that are maybe different. But for the most part, you're taking all the gen eds, you're taking extracurricular things as well. So it's not that different. The terminology is maybe a little different. And I do want to just specify, I'm not representing ASU.
No, not at all. You are on your own.
I'm an alum.
Say ASU has said that they are not going to offer up anybody to talk about this degree. I checked with them yesterday. But you were in the business, you were in the field. You were kind of the example of why this degree might be needed. And again,
Sure.
I'm sure you've seen the headlines. It's like, oh great, another underwater basket weaving class or whatever. How useful can this possibly be? But by the numbers, this is becoming the primary means of marketing for most businesses.
I mean, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars by brands, the global influencer industry, if you will, the content creation industry. You know, influencer is a bit of a stigma. People don't have a great opinion of that term, right? So, which is, I'm sure, why the ASU went with content creation.
I would too.
But regardless, all over social media and online and things, everyone is calling it the influencer degree, and saying the world's ending and why is this happening? But that's kind of why I'm glad you're having me on, because I do feel as though most of what is happening within that degree program, if not all of it, is very relevant to the marketing world, to working for a brand even, not just on your own as a consultant, or being paid as an influencer, as a content creator by a company, which again, we're talking couple $100 billion industry right now.
Yeah, so I've pulled up some numbers and projected to grow, social media management, just management, is expected to grow from $39 billion in 2026 to $160 billion by 2034. That's probably low, really. I mean,
Sure.
20% growth rate. But here's what I thought it was interesting about this. And I thought about all of my own social media interactions. I'm like, this is 100% true.
Sure.
81% of consumers make their impulse or spontaneous purchases based on social media content. That is a massive number of impulse buys for people to be grabbing.
They're doing their research online, right, overall. But more and more and more over the years, now up until 2026, people are getting their information off of TikTok, off of Instagram, from specific people. And are the influencers or people that they're following always working for a brand? Not necessarily. A lot of people do things where they're just fans of something. But that influencer industry, again, is so much money going into it on the brand side to get their products out there, get the word out. The more authentic and genuine the content creator can be is always going to be a better case. We've gone through a world of people sort of switching between brands, influencers switching, and not truly being authentic, just grabbing the bag, if you will. So I think teaching this and teaching the business of it as well is a really big positive for content creation going forward.
I think back in the day also, when this was becoming a thing that people did, either just for fun or just because, it was one of those things where you didn't really know how to make it do what it needed to do.
Yep.
Now this is a lot based on research, algorithm. This is based on actual data that people are putting together and making full-fledged campaigns of this. People are not just going out and shooting a random video because they want to get a JetBlue holiday. That's a good meme. But now we know the reason why the meme works and why that works as a social media campaign.
For sure. There's a lot of the good ones, I think, are really the ones that put all that time into it, and they've been doing it for a long enough time where they know what works, they know what maybe isn't going to work. I'm 15 years into the business, if not longer, and absolutely when it first started, when people were just out there on social and there weren't really even the tools to be a content creator or an influencer, it was much more basic. Now, I mean, every social media platform almost everyone has a store. You know, you don't leave the platform, you just are shopping on the store, and you see TikTok dedicate entire studios like this where they have individual people selling a product. Now that's
Amazon's doing the exact
absolutely
same thing. Amazon has their influencers who will do live shows
Yeah.
to showcase
it's
products.
affiliate market. I mean, that's, you know, now that's much more sales. It's a sales approach, whereas there's sales involved obviously and revenue, but there's a trust level there with a content creator. If someone I follow all of a sudden now is backing a product, usually what's happening is the product that they're backing is very relevant to what they do, who they are, what their content is about. It's either directly or somewhat indirectly tied in. So again, the authenticity, which is cliche to say, but cliches exist for a reason.
Well, here's what I'll go back to also, and I'm kind of going to out myself here for just a minute, that I am kind of a QVC junkie.
Oh man,
Just a little bit.
Sure.
That is the original influencer, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy things because you like the host and you trust the host's, I don't know, judgment on
Yeah.
these products, even though, yes, they're being paid, but it's how well you sell something. If they weren't good at the content creation aspect of this, nothing would sell. Same thing I see in this. If you're not good at making a content some sort of video for a product,
yes.
you're not going to sell the product.
Yeah, it can't just be a straight sales pitch, you know. QVC, I love that you brought that up because that is such a great example of where it used to be. And think of how much time someone would have spent. I definitely have my friends back in the day, their moms were watching QVC like soap operas,
Oh, yeah.
you know, for hours. And maybe they wouldn't buy everything, but it was content that they were interested in, that they were just consuming,
I know people that
watching.
will watch just for one guy, David Venable, who's been on there, got 20 some odd years, and
Yep.
that man has a legion of fans
Yep.
that will do almost anything he says. It's kind of the prototype of the original influencer. But in this case, if you don't have a social media marketing team and you are a business, are you just dead in the water?
No. And because think of all the small businesses. I work with a lot of small businesses here, and entrepreneurs, and it's growing by leaps and bounds day after day, right? So many small businesses, they just don't have the resources to have a team or to even have one person or to hire an agency or a consultant. So they need to figure out what to do. There's all kinds of tips and advice to give, you know, for like someone that's starting a small business. Documenting what you're even doing on a daily basis is content.
Come to work with me is a great
Oh,
concept
absolutely.
to get some sort of interaction going and
Absolutely.
get yourself out there.
And then live stream, like just do a live stream if you can, assuming you're okay with that. Everybody doesn't love being on camera as much as us, but there's ways to do it that can be effective. But overall, it's like anything else. It takes commitment, a belief, and strategy, planning. Now, to what extent that exists for this business versus this business, it's different. You know, there's giant companies that have 20-person, believe it or not, social media only teams, and there's one person assigned to this platform and one person assigned to TikTok and Facebook. It's crazy. But to your point of having all the amount of money that's dedicated to it and is only growing.
So I brought this up yesterday when I was talking to one of my bosses, and this is kind of, in my head, a good case study for this. I didn't know anything about Formula One until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter got into it, I think because she heard some friends talking about this show that was on Netflix.
Yep.
Drive to Survive. Great, watch that show. Now it pops up in my algorithm all the time. These teams have massive social media teams
Yeah.
that do nothing but videos. Arguably, these drivers spend more time doing social media videos to get attention to the team than they do practicing and driving the car and training. Because they are spending hours every single day, and they will say this, they have said this many times.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time doing just social media videos. Obviously, it kind of bugs them. But it gets the attention out there. You don't necessarily have to win the race now to be popular on social media
Sure.
and translate that into money.
Absolutely true. I mean, I think that goes for, if we're just sticking to the world of sports, especially the big sports like F1, NBA, NFL. Like, there's plenty. Look, there's so many podcasters, right, that exist now that are former players that were not MVPs, Super Bowl champions, NBA champions, but they're interesting, and they have the stories. Right, so
Charles Barkley never won a championship.
Well,
Charles Barkley
Chuck is great. Chuck is MVP.
On TV
yeah,
and
but
everywhere else.
Someone like so again, sticking with sports, there's a podcast called All the Smoke, right? And that's Matt Barnes, who I think played for the Suns for a little bit, but he played for a bunch of teams, and Steven Jackson, and they're just longtime NBA veterans, but they got together, they're friends, and the show that they do, they have on individual other players, coaches and things, other people from other industries, and it's really interesting. You know, the stories that get told are the reason why I think they get the inside scoop, the behind the scenes, and it's really interesting. But that's just one example. There's a lot of those examples.
Well, that goes to also kind of, we're not going to stray too far from the content creation part of this, but it goes to the changing kind of landscape of media. I know a lot of people in TV would bristle at the thought of being called a content creator.
Sure.
That is now fully an hour and a half out of my day, because now I'm producing vertical videos for social media, for our own app, for TikTok, for Instagram. I'm doing that daily.
Sure.
Out of this content, you will see a vertical video with you in it later today in about 5 hours.
Can't wait.
But now I'm having to be trained on how to do that not far after I graduated college. After I graduated, okay, I've been out a while.
Still a Sun Devil?
It's still a Sun Devil, yes, go Devils.
Yes.
But if I had this class in college, it's just the class, I would have had a massive leg up. I went to a conference to learn how to do this in a proper way, in a way that would be more engaging and better. I would much rather have learned this in college 20 years ago.
And it's certainly, right now, it's a career path. I don't see it changing. Like we've talked about the Goldman Sachs and, future money spent in this world is in the hundreds of billions. I don't think it's going anywhere. And just one other thing with the content creator terminology, it's hilarious to me because journalists have always been content creators.
We're literally creating content right now on a streaming app.
Going back 100 years. It's just a term, and I think there's again, stigma, like people have trouble getting past the words of influencer, content creation, because in their brain, I was having a conversation earlier today when I mentioned I was coming on, and was going to talk about this degree in content creation, and the person rolled their eyes, and I was like, you know what, it's all good, I understand. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, I just want to make sure that people are informed. Obviously that's what your job is too.
Well, you're going to roll your eyes until you buy something that was recommended to you on Reels. And then when you realize that you did it, you kind of take that back and go, okay, I wasn't really thinking this through. This actually works a lot more.
Yeah, it's just the tools that you're using. You're doing the same things that you would do somewhere else. It's just using TikTok and buying something through there. Do you trust it? Amazon, you're buying something through there. But all these ways of being influenced, it's everywhere. It's not just social media. It's just social media is at scale.
Yeah. Well, here's a stat that I found that was also interesting, and that is that for the money that you spend on content creation, businesses, they will get a 3-to-1 or a 5-to-1 return.
Yeah.
So if you spend $1, you are going to make $5, $5.78, something like that, $6 on $1 of ad spend. That is a massive return on investment, and to me shows that it works.
For brands, I mean, this part isn't necessarily new. I mean, this is within the last few years, it's brands, the smart ones have recognized the return. And it's when we say return, it's also not even always financial. It's like, what are their business goals? What are they actually trying to accomplish? And the more that a business can define that for themselves, where it's not necessarily the money, it's, well, we need to get people onto this trial. We need to get people to attend this event. It's whatever that return is as defined by the business goals, that's where the success is coming in. But certainly 5-to-1 ratios.
It's not surprising.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Vincent Orlick, thank you very much for coming by.
Thanks for having me on.
Explaining this whole thing to everybody. Again, the degree starts over at the Cronkite School at ASU, content creation. Please don't call it an influencer.
Preferably not.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We're going to move on right now to a segment we call the follow-up. All right, our follow-up today is going to be about big shock, the heat. And that is not going to surprise anybody. We are talking about the heat energy spike that has been happening the last little while. And that is a giant boost when it comes to how much power we have been using. Now, we should say that we are talking about heat spikes from SRP and APS. And we are talking about an all-time demand record. And we are talking, let's see, 9,000 megawatts between 5 and 6 p.m. on Friday, July 24th. Last August, 8,542 megawatts. APS surpassed for the first time 9,000 megawatts. That is a lot of power that we are dealing with. And here's why. This is why I bring this up as a follow-up, because I thought it was interesting. We are talking about the danger hour for power companies, which is 5 to 6. Here's why this is dangerous. We now have a baseline power consumption. And we are talking about things like data centers. Those things run 24 hours a day, all the time. They suck down a ton of power. And because of that, that baseline usage just never really moves. Then you get home. You get home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You start turning things on. Your air conditioning kicks on. You crank down the thermostat. You start cooking. You turn on the entertainment system, the TV, all that kind of stuff. You're now adding to the power drain and the power draw from all of these companies. So that little hour is when we're going to see a massive spike in power consumption. Good news is that we are definitely built for it. We have a lot of power here in Arizona. APS, SRP, we're not talking about blackouts. We're not talking about brownouts. We're not talking about that kind of thing like California. We are talking about higher prices, though, because you're going to be using more power. And yes, rates fluctuate, things like that. But we are talking about higher bills. And usually it's because the temperatures just don't drop as much as we would hope they do. Because nighttime this week, I looked, 97, never got below 97 on that day. And because of that, your air conditioning is just running nonstop, 24/7. So instead of cycling down and giving your power bill a break, it's definitely not doing that at all. It is just going to keep on boosting and keep on drawing all of that power. All right, let's move on to our one good thing. All right, one good thing. We have one good thing we want to leave you with today. And today, it is a fantastic story of a man who is walking across the country, Philadelphia to California. For the first time, we're actually going to play you this entire story of this guy who is walking for a good cause.
On an Arizona highway,
It's dangerous on the road. I'm aware of that.
you might have seen Isaiah Thomas in a neon shirt, just walking.
Got some supporters coming up too right now.
Yo, you got my favorite Gatorade.
You can't see them, but there are thousands more supporters walking right beside him.
Sometimes 1,000 people watching at a time.
To his chat, he's Humble Zay, live streaming on TikTok and Twitch, where his viewers just watch him walk.
This is how I'm streaming. I got the Starlink on there.
A walk of faith from Philadelphia to California for many walks of life.
All walks of life right now is being inspired.
Inspired, just like Humble DJ, once a viewer, now
I was able to, come out here. I'm 36. I've never really been big on Twitch or anything like that. I was watching along and I'm like, man, this is pretty dope. Like, he's really doing something inspiring.
back home. Zay says growing up, kids like him didn't have a clear path to success.
I realized that, starting off at a trade school is something that could change their life.
So to raise money to build one, he hit the road.
That was the reason why I was able to, take this walk of faith.
Through tornadoes, mountains, traffic stops, and dust storms.
We made it through it all. But after he got hit, it was a dire need.
On day 34, hit by a car, live on stream. Fortunately, Zay walked away with just a few bruises, and after a few days in the hospital, he just kept going.
Even when I got hit by the car, now I'm here.
This time, with help. That's when Zay brought DJ out to drive an RV for support.
My life has been forever changed. I don't foresee me going back home and things being the same.
I think this journey is showing all of us that never give up on yourself.
Because then there were the good moments.
Arizona people, the whole Arizona just been a blessing. Going through the Navajo Nation, it was beautiful. Even now as I'm going into Flagstaff, I've barely been able to walk today because so many people been stopping me. The love been amazing.
Love. found in so many other moments on his trip. Fans, fellowship, rescuing a new friend, and countless prayers. And even crossing paths with others.
Dude, you're the man. You're my hero.
Love, bro, love.
Others, like him, who were inspired to walk their own roads.
I'm walking from Florida all the way to Oregon.
To Boston. Juggling the entire way. An outline of the United States.
We just walked across America.
And Zay did it.
3,000 miles on foot. Anything is possible.
The stream ended. His walk ended.
Humble University on the way.
But a new walk is just beginning.
He has brought together so many people. I don't even think he realizes it in his full capacity.
And just showing people that God's still real.
All right, Haley Brown put that story together. Haley, and believe it or not, is an intern here at Channel 12 and put together a story like that, which is amazing. First of all, really good job.
Thank you
Love
so
this
much.
package.
I appreciate
How
that.
did you find out about this guy? Because you are neither from Philly nor here, no California.
Right. So I guess, that's the perks of being on social media and stuff is you get random stories like this. But I'm an intern, as you mentioned, so I've been fiending to find good stories. I was actually just scrolling my phone. I found this one lady. I was interested in doing a story on something that she had posted. But then I clicked on her story randomly and she reposted Humble Zay just arrived to Arizona. I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, this is a big thing. How did I not know about this before?
This
So
guy's
it was
live
just
streaming
about
the whole thing.
It was just like following someone else and seeing someone else post it. So I guess I was just tapped into my social media feed.
Okay, when you showed me this script, and when you showed me the script, we went through it, and then I watched the video, and so far everybody's had the same reaction when he got hit by a car. And to be back up and walking within, 3 days?
I think it was 3 days, maybe 5 days, he said, but he just had a few bruises. It was crazy. Maybe a back contusion is what they called it, a huge back bruising, but besides that, he was mostly fine.
Now, what I like about this story is that he's walking cross country. He's doing it for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So one of them is to build a trade school in Philadelphia. He was not able to finish his college degree. He can only go to college for a year because of financial reasons. So he was like, I'm going to start a trade school in Philadelphia, build it from the ground up so that kids in Philadelphia will have more options because I didn't. There's that. And then also to just kind of showcase his faith. He's a Christian. And he's saying, I talked to him, this was a personal conversation, this didn't air, but he said in the Bible, lots of disciples had their own spiritual walk. That was something that happened back then. People just went on walks to share their faith, and he was like, I'm going to do that.
And this could very easily have ended so differently for anybody who was by themselves walking across country. I mean, yes, hit by the car. Yes, that was crazy in itself. But, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's coming across anybody who's mean, rude, anything. He's got people that come up to him and love him and just want to see him and talk to him and just not even be on the stream. That's what gets me. People don't want to be on TV. They want to go meet him.
Right, exactly. Well, and maybe I didn't show all the bad things, but there
are some bad things.
He has posted, people throwing stuff out of their car at him, honking, and then the whole time he's just been kind of saying, people laughed at me when I first started doing this. They were like, you can't do that, because the whole comment section was like, ha, good luck. But his main thing, he's like, I proved all them wrong. I kept going, and anything is possible. So, and all the love that he received helped him through that. I'm pretty sure.
Now, at the end of this, he made it to California. Is he done walking, or is he still walking?
So once he made it to the border, I'm pretty sure he was done. That was the main goal. He's somewhere in California right now. It might be San Francisco right now, just visiting. He went to go visit some other streamers. They did a collaboration, whatever. But
I hope he drove from.
Yes. Okay. He has the RV, so it's not a problem. Him and his partner, they're now going to be driving into Los Angeles, hopefully arriving by August 1st, and that's when they're going to have that huge celebration. And then he said if someone donates $100,000 to his GoFundMe, he would walk back to Philadelphia. But the plan right now is to drive back across country in the RV to Philadelphia.
All right, Haley Brown, Thank you very much. I love that story. Of course, we'll probably put that online. I believe it airs also later tonight.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for joining us here on the 11. I'm William Pitts. Thanks for joining us on the 12 News streaming app. We will, of course, have more news for you coming up on 12 News at 1, 4, 5, and 6.